Good evening, everybody. It's Matt and Dyan, and welcome back to OK Aussie. I am back literally 5 minutes ago from Murdoch University. I've just been with the molecular science team looking at individualised medicine for rare genetic conditions. And I actually got to meet with lots of people with very, very rare conditions who are stuck here in little Perth, Western Australia. It's so funny that even though you might have different conditions, so many of us have had the exact same path through life, having to deal with the health system, the government, the NDIS systems. The story resonates with so many. I was invited to Murdoch University as part of a think tank. Don't know why they chose me. I don't think about much. But anyway, I was part of the think tank, getting to speak to the geneticists. I had a tour of the molecular labs. I want to bring one of those microscopes home. I reckon it'd be damn fun, to be honest, to have a look at your cells, all those broken cells because of 22q. You've actually got multiple rare conditions, and this happens also a lot in the community. Dyan's got Ehlers-Danlos, that's a rare condition. You've got FARS, which is a neurological rare condition. You've got Dupuytren's, which is a rare contractual disease. I mean, of course, you've got 22q 11.2 deletion syndrome. You've got dystonia is also rare. Hey, there you go. You got over 5 rare conditions. And it's actually very interesting to meet other people in that same sort of boat, because unfortunately 95% of people with rare conditions aren't getting any treatment, any management, are lost in a health system. It resonated across so many people. I heard the male misogynistic health system in Australia, particularly the obnoxiousness of the white coat fever, the putting down of females, it's in your head, and this is a male going, no, it's not, they've actually got real conditions. And we've now got the data, the genetic data, to prove it for so many patients, but they've all been pushed in that same sort of way. And I call that bullying. I really don't think that's actually a good thing. And it's a good segue into the conversation that we're about to have right now, which is why Dyan's actually upset, because of bullying. And people with rare conditions, and I spoke to actual patients, I spoke to some parents, they are a bit like me. We've spent so much time trying so hard to look after our loved one, trying so hard to keep them just alive in a system that doesn't care, that spits them out and chews them out. That statement that we got from a cardiologist, put them out to pasture. Well, we had a couple who've also said, yeah, we had the same things, because they're not cared about or supported, that there's no finance, there's no money put into investigating and exploring the supports and the treatments. And these people like me that just spend 24 hours a day, on medical sites, looking at medical journals, investigating, connecting with people like John Hopkins or Mount Sinai or any of the other sort of major health hubs in the state. Being done that, we all got the same t-shirt basically, we've all done the same thing. But one of the things that did resonate with me too is how the bullying, how this isolation, how it's just people not getting and understanding the condition or accepting, and then that becomes discriminatory. It really is just a failure, because, and this is the other thing came out of this, is if you don't get these diagnoses, then you get failed by other departments, like the NDIS, for example, or Centrelink, or whatever you might need. So it's so important that the health system actually gets their shit right, and so many of them fail also in the transition from childhood into adulthood. It's so worrisome. And of course, unless you've got a rare condition, you don't know these things, you don't see these things, you don't experience these things. But like I said, this is a bit of a segue into a conversation about bullying, because whilst I was away over at Murdoch University, you had a lovely support worker with you, protecting and keeping you safe, because that's one of my big issues, is anytime I step out of here, there are so many potential risks, catastrophic risks that can occur between respiratory, cardiac, multiple different seizure types, Dupuytren, dystonia, you name it. There's just so many things that can actually go wrong. So I'm so glad that we had a lovely support worker looking after you during that period of time. But I did find that when I got back, you were a bit frustrated. You're a bit frustrated about some of the bullying that's been going on that you've experienced this week, over the last 6 months, over a lifetime. Let's be realistic. Online, particularly in the online space. And it was really ironic, because part of the conversations, well, a lot of the conversations were, we're reliant on being online with with disabilities. We're reliant on using things like Facebook and Facebook groups to be able to connect to other people who've got these very rare conditions around the world, to be able to share stories, to be able to have hope, aspiration and inspiration to know where to go. But at the same time, there's so many people who just struggle, who don't want to have Facebook because, you know what, it's toxic. There's a lot of negativity. There's a lot of scams. There's also a lot of bullying. And I noted, because there's a few other people who talked about autism and some of the other conditions as well. And there's certain conditions that really are hugely vulnerable, but susceptible to this because, look, they don't have the capacity. Maybe they don't have the mental capacity. They don't have the social skills. They don't have the supports around them from friends or family or loved ones to keep them safe. There's vulnerability of online safety as it is. But then you just have assholes, people who are just nasty, who will take advantage and will just play mean girls. And I'm sorry, I'm a boy. Maybe it's mean boys, but I always find it's mean girls really behaviour. Don't you find the same thing? So let's have a bit of a chat about that if you don't mind, because maybe that'll explain what's going on for you as we bring the people at home up to speed with where we're at. And maybe they've also got some shared experience in this, because you know what, there's not many people with long-term chronic health conditions who haven't lost their informal networks, their families, their friendships, their groups, people that they've grown up with, who just haven't got it along the way. They haven't understood the condition. They have been left behind. They've gone on with their lives because their life is normal. And your life hasn't been that normal because you've been dealing with so many things.
There's nothing I can do right.
Mm.
Like, I got bullied by high school friends and tricked through Facebook, thinking that, you know, they were trying to be friends. Just like I'm 13 again, because I'm intellectually disabled. I can't discern a lot of things. And I know a lot of people find that hard to believe because of my other abilities, because of my special interests and things that I am good at. But the gaps that you guys don't know about, the vulnerability that I'm under the vulnerability list. I cannot do sophisticated socialization and discern whether someone's taking the piss out of me or not.
What sort of intent that they have towards their behaviours towards you?
Yes. And I always think the best of people because I see the best in life.
You have such a positive attitude with everything, but that gets taken advantage of in its own
and
right.
That's because of my 22q and then other parts of autism. So I have intellectual disabilities, global delays. I have autism. So between all of these things, I'm vulnerable. And my mental age is not 50, it's 18 to 21.
And autism,
socially.
Exactly. And look, autism itself, just by itself, you know, that failure to thrive, that intellectual disability, that global developmental delays, but you've also got alexithymia, facial blindness, executive, all these things make life so damn hard. I mean,
it comes under autism, but what I'm saying is, like, I just experienced the same things I experienced all those years ago by two 50-year-olds.
Wow, so
it's not changed.
School age bullying still continues at age 50, eh?
Yeah, so obviously some people just can't grow up. And look, I get that. And you can pick on me, the retard you went to school with, you go for it. But don't actually make me know about it. I don't need to know about it.
Don't hate other people.
I don't need you to come and humiliate me, knowing that I wouldn't understand what you were doing in front of people. And I don't know what kind of person could do that, personally, because I don't have any hate for anyone.
I know, but some people are just nasty.
And I feel stupid, and that's what's hard about being on that continuum of intellectual disability where you are a vulnerable person and need to be helped and assisted with social and interactions and decision making, but at the same time I have an understanding to a point where I know some, so therefore I know what's going on but not totally, so it's even worse because I know that eventually I work out
Bingo.
I've been taking the piss out
Yeah.
of, but then it's too late.
Correct. A lot of this doesn't happen
And
in
the
real time.
sophistication of what I'm meant to do, I have to go and do a social story.
So social stories are where
And
you
then go
explore
back.
the interaction
And
of a
what's the point
situation.
in going back to the situation?
You can't remedy it.
Because they did it to me because I'm autistic,
Yeah.
and they know that I'm a retard.
So catch your breath for a moment. I want to pull out a couple of poignant parts of that.
And then they just make you feel stupid, which is triggering for an adult autistic, because
Yeah, it would be.
I have been bullied my whole life
That's certainly
by adults and children.
As an autistic, self-included, PTSD, okay, post-traumatic stress disorder, is certainly part of this condition, because you do experience a lifetime
new
of
people
bullying.
as friends. I have friends.
Yeah.
I don't need you, because you know what? Some people do grow up, and they've accepted people even like me.
Yeah. Many people.
And I remember the high school reunion that I left early because I was approached by these women, grown women, and they said to me, "Oh my gosh, it's so funny how, you were so stupid at school and we got good grades and you went to university." So this is just...
Words hurt for a start. And I can see where you're at. And
it's just non-stop, the bullying, guys. Don't think that an autistic that's an adult, that you see them speak and you think they can handle their life so well, and you think that everything's so okay, and that we don't have that. Yes, I've got school friends that do dearly love me. Yes, I'm blessed. Yes, I do have university friends that genuinely care about me and love me, and I do too about them. And also, we do have our bullies at the same institutions as well, who took the piss out of us. And because you know why?
Made life hard.
Because I don't fight back. Because you know why? I don't know how. Because mentally, I am so immature. So for example, when I was at university and I'm 25 or something, I probably would have been 16. Mentally.
So a lot of literal information goes straight over your head. You don't grasp
My
it.
friends had to explain it. I know it did.
Social stories are used a lot of the time to break a situation down so that we can actually analyze it, work out the pattern of and sequence of what happened, what was the intent, what was maybe the body language, what was the purpose behind it.
No, but I just don't understand. Like, you can hate me. You're allowed. It's not against the law. And I don't care.
So that's what you want to do, but
do you have to let me know? No.
That's malicious.
You're 50. Grow the fuck up.
And look, I'm afraid some people...
Live and let live,
Sure,
dudes.
but some people do get stuck in their development, and they get stuck at a certain stage, and they just never ever seem to evolve.
Alone. Like,
you might have seen
too. Not only do I have these intellectual problems and autism, but guess what? I could die any day, so fuck off. That is a low, disgusting thing to do to someone.
Yeah.
That's actually facing
absolutely
end of life, possibly any time.
Now, catch your breath for a moment.
Shame on you.
Catch your breath for a moment. And at this conference I went to today, and look, I was speaking to a couple of mothers who've got children who are growing up, and this is some of the fears that they have for their own children. But they're also going some of the fears that I have, where you don't know, you value each and every day. You've been told to take your person home because you just don't know if it's going to be their last day on earth. You know that it's medically complex and that they're going through pain and suffering, and you're trying your very hardest, but you want to make the most of every experience. You certainly don't want to come home, like I have in this instance, to find out the pettiness of negative behaviours which are unnecessary. So
unnecessary, ladies. Unnecessary. Leave me alone.
We say this in the social space quite often. You might come across our channel, and if you don't like it, that's fine. Don't subscribe. Scroll on. Don't need to comment. There are millions of other contents that are created each and every day. Go off and have a look at those people. Okay,
no,
if it doesn't resonate.
I don't care about strangers.
Yeah.
These were people I went to school
I get
with.
it. I know.
Okay? And they bullied me at school, and they bullied me out of school.
And I think you got the answer
there.
there.
And they also tried to be my friend, and they used and abused me.
Yeah.
And now they're making fun of me at 50.
Yeah.
That's why I'm upset. I don't care about
you're
strangers, and I don't care about people that I went to school with, what they think of me. don't come on my Facebook and
That's
make
it.
it obvious
It's
what
personal.
you think of
It's
me.
very personal when they
That's
interject themselves
mean.
into your space.
And I don't understand why
your
people
page
do
or your
that.
channel,
I
your
don't
comments.
understand why people
Okay.
would bother with this
Okay.
at 50.
And we're exploring that together and being mindful that this is a very sensitive topic, and there's many other people out there who are bullied. Bullying can be absolutely disastrous. Okay, it can lead people into self-harm and other sort of risks as well. And let's be very, very honest now. There are support groups and organisations and phone numbers that you can ring if you also have experienced this and are going through this. Reach out to a loved one to be able to have that conversation, to be heard, because I think validation and being heard is incredibly important. It is unnecessary for people to interject themselves into your space, your personal online space, to just bring another person down.
You're just jealous.
I
I
don't
had
always get it.
friends tell me that these girls are always jealous.
Yeah.
And it's like, well then, move on. If you're jealous, you know what the remedy is? Fix yourself so that you like yourself, and you don't need to be jealous of someone else.
But it hurts, doesn't it?
Yes, it does, because I liked them one day, but you know what? I don't like them anymore because they were mean to me. But I'm just saying,
and that's fair enough.
I did like them, so this isn't my problem.
I've always found you to be incredibly open to anybody and everybody. You're very, very kind. You give a lot of yourself. You're an oozing empath.
People can't see something in everyone, because there is. And if someone is a bad person, maybe find out if there's a story. Maybe there's a reason. Maybe someone was bad to them.
Look, your kind
and they
heart
are just reacting.
is worn on your sleeve, and this is also something which makes you even extra vulnerable in these sort of spaces, because people do take advantage of that. It is terrible behaviour. People should be respected, because people don't know. You don't know what a person's going through in a day. You don't know what they've just been through. Anything can tip them over. It can be that straw that breaks the camel's back at any point in time, and it's unnecessary to ruin someone's day or experience in life. If you've got something good to say, don't bother saying it at all. I mean, isn't it as easy as it should be? Move on, scroll on, bugger off, whatever you want to say. But I am so sorry. I really am for your experience, because social media, first of all, it's in the name, it should be social.
And then the real Queen Mean Girl has
plastic?
her profile locked down. Yeah, she probably has got plastic all over her.
Oh, God. Doesn't this bring back high school memories, the different groups, the different behaviours?
No, she's probably done that because she's such an alcoholic. Her skin's probably falling off.
Yeah, I hear you. I get you. It is horrible behaviour.
She had very bad ethics and morals, and yet I always accepted her, just like Jesus says.
Yeah.
But it was hard. She had a lot of things that I could have judged her about, and I didn't. Really disgusting things, and I didn't.
You know,
and here I am sitting here. I was always just a good friend to her. That's it.
We in society, if I may for the moment, during this seminar that I just went to, one of the slides that we had before we went into the community conversation so that everybody can have a chance to feel part of it, be able to speak, was a slide of, and I've done this before too, because I've lectured and obviously taught and done a lot of things, so you do tend to put this up when you're doing conversations to make sure that everybody has a fair time, that everyone feels part of it, to have no judgment, to enable participation. But it's interesting every time I see these sort of slides, the fact that we as a society have to actually put ground rules up there just to remind people to be nice. Simple as that. That's how I narrow it down.
Because
be nice.
At the end of the day, guys, what you have to understand is, in this world that is rare, that people that have intellectual disabilities and social delays, we are adults and we do have our independence, but we are also like a child. So
childlike.
But you need to respect that child vulnerability
not
in us.
Not take advantage
Not
of
take
it.
advantage. And don't speak to me like a child, because I am an adult, but I have child vulnerabilities.
Exactly.
And it's not okay.
That's not okay.
For you to do what you're doing to me.
No, it's not okay. And look, I can want to imagine, and I've seen a bit of a movement over the last few years of so many people who've gone away from social media because they can't manage, they can't handle it.
That's why I don't do Facebook normally, but I like to see the people I follow.
And particularly autistics.
And I also need to be there for my channel.
A good example is the Australian autistic Chloe Hayden, who's Heartbreak High. You may know her from that. She's written a book. She's quite prominent in that space, but I think it was almost 2 years ago now that she stepped herself back from social media and has a team that will only manage the engagement, the communications, And I get that. I really understand it. I feel incredibly protective as a partner, as a family member, as a loved one, and also as your carer and guardian when you're in the online space. But even not just then, is even when you meet new people or you're in a
But
social
you know what
interaction.
also hurts is I did a live just as a test for
Mm.
TikTok to see, you know, one day if
Oh,
you
yeah.
people are across there, if my channel grows and I get people on TikTok
That's a different
and
social
I
media
can just
pattern.
chat to people, right? And that's when and this is what I'm saying, it's a really hard place to be, is when you know you're not capable like other adults, you're aware of it enough, but you are an adult and you can do these things. So I go on this live,
Yeah.
and I'm having the piss taken out of me, and I didn't realize. And I'm having people step in and say, hey, sweetie, stop doing what you're doing. These people, block this one. They're saying this about you. This is inappropriate. And these other people were getting protective for me.
Yeah.
And it's embarrassing because it's
It must
like,
be hard to process as an adult.
couldn't see it.
Yeah.
But these people could.
And first of all, I'm thankful that you had that.
One of them was a teenager, and I was like,
Mm.
appreciative, nothing against the teenager, but I felt stupid.
Okay, because you're trying to also measure yourself as far as maturity and capability. In this case, against a teenager.
And I didn't have the maturity to be doing that, so I can't participate in stuff like that because I don't have.
But that must feel pretty shitty that you have to miss out because of your disability. It's not accessible in the sense of that you're not given a fair go. That's an Australian term, really, a fair go, so that you can equally participate without the vulnerability of trolls and people just going in there to take the piss. Now, it's not even personal to you. They're literally just there.
But it's just I can't see
sniping, stupid comments.
But I'm not seeing it. I'm taking it as though they're being okay. You're taking it genuine,
and that's right. And this is its literalness as well.
That scares me. It's like I'm not safe.
No, and you're not. And that's why I'm coming back to saying it's incredibly difficult for that protective instinct of a partner or a carer or a guardian to also be here. I can't be here 24/7 waiting as you're on screen or on social media, typing a message or a text message. I am a child with my needs. Yeah. But so difficult to navigate.
Luckily, I'm around people that treat me like an adult with those needs that are like a child.
Sure.
But
now, look, the natural reaction, and this might come back in the comments from some people who say, just simply get off. Don't go on these social media channels. Well, that's all very well, but that's the other extreme. It's like, well, but that's where people are. And come back to what I was saying about the inability for disability. You don't have the ability to a lot of time to get out of your bed and get out of your home to go and join these things. No, but social media, regardless, is exclusion to say I should remove myself from the platform. Correct.
Then that means that it's the same as in physical society, that people are asking me to exclude myself from society. Yeah. And what everyone else does. And that's not the right thing to do.
No, it isn't.
But some things have to be modified.
They do.
Yes.
And that's how we operate. We do give things a go. But I'll tell you what, behind the scenes, there's a lot of work by myself because I do have to oversee things. Yes. I have to look at the comments that come through. And a lot of time, if Dyan's even more vulnerable, I'll be the one who actually go through and maybe read these things to her. If I can see obvious things, I'll explain using social stories. Yes. I'll be part of the responses to make sure that I'm getting... Because remember, it must admit, in the written tone, and if you're not including things like emoticons and images, you don't always know what the intent or the tone or the messaging happens to be. Just because someone's writing in caps doesn't mean that they're yelling at you, even though we understand that as into parlay. But the reality is someone might just have eyesight problems and they have to use full caps. It's confusing at the best of times. And why would you want to miss out? Isolation is the other thing, and this is what came through with seminar today.
Comes down
disabilities, people with disabilities have a lot of isolation.
And also it comes down to being, I have to be strong. Yeah. I have to say, no, you can bully me. Okay, you don't have the right to do it to my face or do it on my socials. No, you don't. No, you don't. And there is laws in Australia about this. Yeah. And also, I have the right to be here. And I'm not going to be intimidated by people like you and take myself off here because of petty little girls who didn't grow up. Yeah. And I'm someone with intellectual disability and I've worked hard to grow up.
Yes, you actually have.
So I'm proud of myself. And I'm proud that I went to university. And I'm proud that I didn't use very inappropriate practices to get an elite job. I'm sorry. I think that this person is shameful. And I just know this. This person's life is dishonorable. Mine is honorable. So I'm proud
Good. You
of
should be
my
proud of yourself.
choices that I've made that are always
Your morals,
been with
values,
honor.
and beliefs. Yeah. And that's the important thing. At the end of the
So
day,
I'm
you
proud
know
of
you've
myself.
done the
I
best you
don't
can.
need your approval. I don't need your validation. Don't need your friendship.
Yeah.
But you do not have the right to bully me.
No, and look, in the summer things too, this might seem like a small little thing and it's not a big deal, but it is that death by 1,000 paper cuts when you're a person with disability and you're dealing
And
with
excluded
the
from
health
the world.
systems and supports issues. You're trying to explain a rare or multiple rare conditions and people just
Some
don't
of your
get it.
carers don't even get it.
It's you daily,
Facts.
and even just the pain. Again, I was speaking to a lovely lady next to me in this course today, and she was saying she's got about 7 people in her family who've got EDS, ear loss, down loss, like you do and like you have. And again, you start with pain at a scale of 7 or 8 in the morning just by waking up, and then the rest of the day goes on. And she's on ketamine too to get access to that and the struggles. But she was even saying, trying to go through these pain management processes are an absolute freaking joke. The hospitals are an absolute freaking joke.
Yeah.
Because they are. That's part of our issues. And here in WA, one of the other things that came out of the conversation today is the litigious nature, okay? The legalities behind the medical system trying to self-protect themselves from being sued, so they will do everything they can to avoid taking any
not
action.
many of us.
And it's like the old adage is, do no harm. Well,
They're
by
rare.
doing nothing, you're causing harm, but they prefer to do that to get it. And this is not a singular solo case.
Well, they
it is
want
so
us just
widespread.
to die, guys.
Oh, it's so
They
frustrating.
literally say it.
Mm.
They want us just to go home,
Yep.
live our best life, and die.
Yep.
Yet a cancer patient, they'll fight.
Correct.
And that's good.
Yep.
But
And in the case of
where's
all of these,
mine?
every one of these patients, every one of these families, their parents or their loved ones are doing the fight. And that's what our life is every day. We are fighting through to research, to create awareness and educate. Every one of these people were also having to educate their doctors, because just like me, when I go in and see 22 or 23 different specialists, the specialist goes, what is that? I don't know what that is. Can you tell me?
I don't know what 22
It's like,
is.
geez, if I could write that down, everybody's going
But
through
it
the
should
same
be
experience.
illegal, because you know what? Imagine if you guys with things that are typical like diabetes, arthritis, whatever, and your doctor said that's just not my problem. Imagine if that was you.
Correct.
That is discrimination against rare syndromes, and it's wrong.
And anyone who's got a
It's
rare
wrong.
condition or rare syndrome
We've paid the
understands
same
exactly
tax.
that.
We've paid the same tax as an average family. Not good enough.
God, I've paid enough tax to buy off a small country. I'm just saying, I've worked a lot through my life.
Yeah.
But that's the reality. So when we come to these small little death by 1,000 paper cuts, I'm putting it in context to say, each and every day, you're going through a lot. You're waking up in pain. You've got 180 different clinical symptoms that you're dealing with. You're dealing with the systems. And you're just trying to get through and trying to have a damn good day. I mean, you have stupid, petty little pricks on social media. They can piss off, but I'm just saying, no one needs it. I'm sure you guys probably could share the same thing. And look, yes, you can block them and
I guess
you
we
can
should
ignore
lock
them.
down my account.
And maybe you need to. And that's the reality, is because we've been through this process before. Even saying, look, don't go on certain social media.
In conjunction with having discussions with you.
Yeah, exactly. And the reality is, we also don't have the time or the capacity to deal with this most infantile stupidity, because at the end of the day, there are much bigger things, much bigger fish to fry that we're having to deal with and go through.
If only I had a life that's all I had to
God.
do, because I'm so bored.
They really must
I'm
be bored.
trying to save my own life. He's
Right.
trying to save my life.
I wish I had the time to waste doing this sort of crap. Seriously. And I'm sure you guys can relate. And if you can relate, I'd love to hear from you in the comments about your own experience
Because
about bullying
sure
in the
a
online
lot of
space of
you
social media. It might be
are
on
in
one
my
particular channel.
position,
Bingo. Or have seen it.
autism,
Oh, yeah.
and even just being
Developmental
excluded
delays,
from
autism, having
being
fear or
disabled.
anxiety, being a person with disability. Disabilities tends to exclude you from the rest of society. Fact. Okay, even as a carer and a loved one, I feel very excluded from a lot of things, because you do miss out.
You do.
You become very hermited, very withdrawn, because that's your life. People don't get the complexities and the severities and having to talk about these things. I met people today, and I'm going to take you along to the next seminar that comes up. If you're well enough to be able to go, and I did actually make the mention to you if I could live stream it and include people who are at home, because there's a lot of people who've got disability who can't get out of bed and attend these things like I can as an able-bodied person. And I must admit, there's one person in a wheelchair today, and he had to wheel all the way around one section to be able to get hold of, to get to the lift access. It's not quite that easy. Everybody else is off walking the merry way, and I turn and it's like, do you need help? Can I assist? You think about it as a person who has got another one in a wheelchair and understand the difficulties of everyday life, and not every place is set up for accessibility. Okay, I do understand that. I'm so sorry for your experience today. I really am. It breaks my heart seeing you sad and upset by it.
I'll be over it by tomorrow morning.
And that's the good thing about autism. You do rebound very quickly.
But the thing that I just want to point out is that this will continue to happen to me, guys, because of my autism.
It's a given. I'm so sorry.
My intellectual disability. This is going to be intellectual delays, whatever. This is just going to non-stop happen to me. So I just wanted to share it because
our
it
acceptance
needs to be spoken about.
Is not so much an acceptance of just going, oh yeah, whatever,
in a day,
or rolling over.
In a month.
It's the acceptance of an understanding that this happens. So therefore we are prepared for it. It does hurt when it happens, but we take every step there where we can to mitigate and to reduce it occurring.
The other person. So people who do it don't think that,
that they're winning.
Well, just that like it's anything about you at all. It's actually just making us realize how sick we are and how many struggles we have.
And I also have
and that's what we focus on, which really ends up turning into how do we do our disabled life better.
Correct.
So it's not about you.
I also have a greater sadness though, but I really, as I see this happen more and more and more, that I feel that the world is not a safe place for people with disability and with vulnerabilities. And that makes me feel ashamed as a human being. It makes me feel disappointed that our children or grandchildren or our partners can't just get out of their home and participate equally and evenly. And this is what, 2025, the year that we're in.
Just sick of people
so
being
unnecessary.
Judgy. It's like,
and it doesn't matter whether it's ageism or racism or sexism or disability.
It's the stupid Kardashian effect. Like, it's got to be. It's got to be. Where everything's petty. Like, those people that will say, they're poor, and someone will say, I hate the Kardashians, and someone will say, you're just jealous, and there's someone poor as well, and you just go, are you stupid? Are you really stupid? They got famous over nothing. They didn't earn their money, and you're poor, and a poor person saying, well, I don't like the Kardashians because they got money for nothing. We've all got nothing, and you're a poor person as well. Why are you defending them? Like, seriously, ask yourself, why do you think they're cool? You're not the one with the money. You're not cool.
Oh, gosh. Well, look, I'm glad that I did go out tonight.
And I'm not saying that money is cool, but what I'm saying is it's not cool when you're living in a rental that's not your own and you don't have the pride of having your own home.
Missed opportunities as well.
I'm sorry.
No, don't hurt. And I'm also just going to point out, and if you haven't noticed, why is Dyan stuttering? Why is she sometimes slurring her words? Why is she struggling with word finding? Why is sometimes her pace, cadence and tone not quite a normal thing? This is all cognitive. Okay, 22q, 11.2 deletion syndrome. Chromosomal disorder that Dyan has got is a deteriorating condition, missing 30 to 40 genes, affecting 180 plus clinical symptoms, and over 3 million DNA are missing. Okay, that affects every part of her body, and that genetically, which is part of the conversation I had tonight, is causing a neurodeterioration. Her brain is being affected by ataxia, migraines, memory, short-term recall, capabilities such as speech, dysphagia, so many seizure types, dystonia, let alone dyslexia, dysgraphia, and then you've got things such as Tourette's on top of this. It is getting worse.
It is. We know
it is.
Which
means the seizures have a cognitive impact of deterioration.
Yeah, we know that.
In that decline, where does that decline go? Okay, I'm seeing
How
it and
far
you're
is it
seeing it
gonna
in front
go?
of you. And this is one of the benefits of why we have a YouTube channel. Dyan is the guinea pig in this case. She is the lab rat in a clinical
One
lab showing
day,
you what
hopefully, I
22q
will help
actually
someone
is. And you are.
or
Because the reality
others.
is you have connected now globally with many, many people with 22q. Deletion or duplication syndrome. No other person or organization has actually done that to actually bring together people with 22q in the world. You're the only person who's also sharing your day-to-day journey clinically to give you an example of what it is like to live with this condition, with multiple rare conditions, okay?
Yeah.
Bringing it into the spotlight to have the conversations around what life is like, your positive attitude that gets you through it, okay? Your determined positive strength, which is a lot of fun a lot of the time, a bit of glitter, a bit of sparkle, a bit of pizzazz, but at the same time, sometimes it's sad and hard times. Sometimes it's vulnerable times, and we're sharing that online, and that gives you the opportunity. This is not the Kardashians. This is not some sort of scripted TV.
I
This is
just
raw
feel
and real.
like for some reason, and it's not to do with the bullying, and it's
Yeah.
not to do with like anything specific, right? It's
Yeah.
just an accumulation of maybe even just my life. I'm just really burnt out, guys. And I really apologize for not being myself because I know I'm not myself at the moment.
I don't feel you have to
My
apologize.
best self, you know.
yourself.
I am being myself. I'm not my best self. And that's not to say that I'm happy every day and everything's perfect every day, but I'm just saying, like,
I'd encourage
I'm
you at home
really
to say to
struggling
Don
at
right
the
now,
moment.
Don,
I don't know
you
why.
don't have to apologize. Okay, it's not your job to apologize for you fighting and battling through
I just
one
don't
of the
know
most
why.
complex conditions there happens
I'm
to be.
struggling
That
at the
is the most
moment.
unknown condition, and yet it's actually not as rare as other conditions. It's the lack of research, lack of understanding, and lack of support that exists.
Lack of
And
knowledge.
like I said, you're showing that raw and real on the screen for people to go, okay, I'm seeing that. That must be really hard. That's an interesting aspect to understand what someone with a disability has to deal with day by day. Not here for judgment, not here for little people being little bitchy people, making fuck off, but it's actually here to hopefully help people, maybe to inspire, maybe to encourage them to see that there's ways. If I can also save years, and I do mean the decades that I've spent having to learn, to research and bring information together, if I can save people even 10 years off their life, because this is the problem with rare conditions. Most of them take at least 10 years to get a diagnosis. You helped someone even just last week, you got a letter from the UK from someone who said, hey, we've finally got genetic studies done, and look, we've got this condition. Okay, it's another genetic condition, and now we have answers, and now we can at least get some assistance that's very specific to that person.
So happy.
Because that's what you're helping to do. You're creating an awareness. You're encouraging people to get genetic
Not
testing,
happy that the person
look at
has
the comorbidities, how to
just
deal
happy
with it.
that the person knows what they have to deal with.
And you're turning
now.
up so that they can have conversations, so they can share
It's
their story and their journey, so they can let off steam. They can also get some positivity and some help and assistance to say, you know what, stay tough, stay strong, because you'll get through it. Okay, you're doing it one step at a time, one day at a time. You will get there. You're doing your best, and you're doing your best too. I absolutely know that.
I'm trying my hardest.
I get that. But you're right about the burnout, and you're allowed to have that too. Hey, I'm a carer. And hell, I've got carers burnout.
He's got
I was
carers
burnt
burnout.
out 10 years ago. I don't know how I'm still doing this. I'm fried, frazzled, and I'm gone. I'm burnt to a crisp. And I do need some time out. But the reality is, as a patient and as a carer, you don't always get that. It might be lovely to say, oh, you're going to get some respite. I have not had that respite. And nor have you.
Okay? I haven't had mine either.
No, so it's on the
very
cards.
out.
It's on the to-do list. So
On
we're
the
going to slow.
to-do list.
Yep, we're going to slow some things down. We're going to have some nice time together.
Now we're just going to relax. I'm going to have my ice cream sandwich.
I might have an ice cream too. That sounds really nice, actually.
Cheers, then.
I look forward to that one, guys.
Cheers.
Big thumbs up of encouragement to say g'day. If you do have comments, questions, ideas, suggestions, you want to share your story,
video,
please share it below. If you're new to the channel, a big hello and welcome. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that little bell thing. It will tell you each time we pop up, because we do pop up at really weird times.
And share this in regards to 22q particularly.
But other rare genetic conditions.
Also being
there's so many
Autism
correlations.
Awareness Month and Autism Acceptance Month.
Absolutely.
If this is in any way with the bullying and autism, maybe that topic, if that's a topic you know someone needs, share it with them.
Absolutely.
Or I hope it's helped you if you're an autistic who's being bullied.
I get you. We're here for you, so please
take care.
remember that. See you soon, guys. Bye for now.